the next row, it's car number 28, Mike Cresilius, and the number 50 of Bob Eames. On back, we have the number 81 of Doug Wicker, and car number 49, the 67 Mustang of Steve Miles. Out back, car number 96, the current leader in the Louisville four-wheel drive Rookie of the Year standings, from Jeffersonville, Indiana, John Collins. That's the starting field. 30 laps will be the distance. Once again, tonight's fastest qualifier, Chuck Barnes, drew a number 1 starting spot. That puts him on the inside front row. Race fans, a special bonus incentive from the Kentucky Lottery will give a $1,000 bonus to the first driver to win 4 features during the 1993 racing season. So far this year, Joe Williamson Jr., Chuck Winters, and Scott Toohey each have 2 feature event victories to their credit. They can add to their overall total with a win here in tonight's 30-lap main event. Let's see what happens as the field forms up down in turns 3 and 4, set for the start. Out of turn number 4, Chuck Barnes and Joe Williamson Jr. bring them down. The green flag is out, and we are racing and off into turns 1 and 2. Out front, it's Chuck Barnes in car number 5. The early race leader is David Thornton, and the 53 of Joe Williamson Jr. collided momentarily going into turns 3 and 4. It's Barnes who leads lap number 1 with Joe Williamson Jr. running at second. David Thornton goes third. Along the outside is Rick Irwin and George Koch in car number 99 as they move down into turns 3 and 4. Bruce Mingus goes 6th on the field, Jerry Lee at 7th. 8th is Chuck Winters, 9th is Scott Toohey, and rounding out the top 10, it's Reed Boone in car number 29 after 2 laps of competition. Down the back straightaway, and the field sorts themselves out to a single file line now as they move down into turns 3 and 4, and it's Chuck Barnes in car number 5 out front. Chuck is the winner of 1 feature event victory so far during 1993. He could get his second tonight if he stays out front in that number 5 machine. Right now, he has about a car length and a half interval between himself and Joe Williamson Jr. as they move out of turn 4. David Thornton right now at 3rd place as they move back into turns 1 and 2. And Steve Miles in car number 49 spins on the back straightaway, and he's down in the infield portion of the 3rd turn area. Some scrambling just outside the top 5 as we have Jerry Lee stacked up on the inside of Bruce Mingus, and then Chuck Winters in car number 8 and the number 38 of Scott Toohey right there as well. They're back into turns 1 and 2 and side by side as they maneuver down the back straightaway. Coming around to collect lap number 6. There's David Thornton in car number 32. The 3rd place running automobile right now has fallen about 6 car lengths behind 1st and 2nd place as they move down into turns 3 and 4. And Rick Irwin in car number 90 takes a peek to the inside of Thornton, gasses it down low, drops back in line again as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Simultaneously, Jerry Lee has gotten around Bruce Mingus to run in the number 6 position as they move back into turns 3 and 4. Checking with our race leaders, and it's Chuck Barnes in car number 5 clicking off lap number 8 and moving back into turns 1 and 2. Joe Williamson Jr. about a car length and a half behind as they move down the back straightaway. Battle heats up once again at 3rd place as Rick Irwin ducks into the inside of David Thornton. They're nearly side by side exiting turn 4. Thornton still holds on to 3rd. Irwin's up along the inside. George Koch's directly behind him as they exit turn 2. And down the back straightaway they go. Jerry Lee right behind George Koch, car number 9. Then it's Bruce Mingus in a spirited battle right now with the number 8 of Chuck Winters as they exit turn 4. 10 laps now completed, and the race leaders move out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Chuck Barnes, for the moment, was connected up with the 03 of David Mack. However, Joe Williamson Jr. could not take advantage of that situation. Out of turn 4, and it's Irwin to the inside of David Mack. Uses him as a pick to send off Thornton to the outside. George Koch in car number 99 comes up along the inside. He'll take away fourth at the end of the back straightaway. They click off lap number 12. The race leaders move out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. And a great battle back in the number 5 position. Car number 9, Jerry Lee, up along the inside of David Thornton.
They're on the roof truck, the roof lighting truck. It's probably still back there in the pit.
13 laps now completed. Here comes Chuck Winders around the outside of Scott Toohey down into turns 3 and 4. And look out there, Bruce Mingus in trouble directly ahead of Scott Toohey. Just a bobble, and it looks like he pulls down to the infield. A left rear tire, presumably flat on that automobile. 14 laps now completed. Your race leaders move out of turn 4, and it's Chuck Barnes and Joe Williamson Jr. bumper to bumper at the halfway mark. Rick Irwin runs at third, followed by George Koch in the number 99. Koch's got his hands full right now. Jerry Lee in the number 9 and David Thornton directly behind him as they move down into turns 3 and 4. Chuck Winders in car number 8 also among those top 5 automobiles as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Checking with the race leaders now into turns 3 and 4. As we said before, Chuck Barnes looks for his second feature event victory of the 1993 racing season. Here comes George Koch out of turn 4, and once again Jerry Lee puts the bumper on him there going into turns 1 and 2. Here comes David Thornton to the outside. Jerry Lee and Koch both hook bumpers. Koch breaks free, nearly pinching Winders against the outside retaining wall going into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Winders to the outside of George Koch. This is the battle for 4th place moving into turns 1 and 2. 18 laps now completed. Our race leaders move out of turn 4 and down into turns 1 and 2. And it's Chuck Barnes in car number 5, followed by Joe Williamson Jr. And again, throughout the first 19 laps of this event, they pretty much have been bumper to bumper. Down into turns 3 and 4. Rick Irwin runs a solid third on the field right now. We're not really being challenged by anyone. David Thornton at 4th. Now Chuck Winders busts into the top 5 after getting around the outside of George Koch. 20 laps completed and 10 remain. As we take a look at third place running Rick Irwin after getting around Bob Eames, car number 50. He swings across the start-finish line and completes his 21st lap. David Thornton at 4th place. Good run for David Thornton inside the top 5 here tonight. And Chuck Winders rounding out the top 5. George Koch goes 6th, 7th to Jerry Lee. The number 38 of Scott Toohey racing along on the outside of him. And then Reed Boone in car number 29 there as well. 22 laps now completed in the battle for the lead out of turn 4. And it's the number 5 of Chuck Barnes being challenged on the inside by the number 53 of Joe Williamson Jr. 1st and 2nd place. And Barnes scoots up the banking coming out of turn 2. Joe Williamson Jr. will take over the number 1 spot now moving into turns 3 and 4. So it's the Copiers Plus Racing Chevrolet of Joe Williamson Jr. out front. The Banquet Table Buffet Racing Camaro of Chuck Barnes at 2nd, followed by Rick Irwin's WDRB Fox 41, sponsored number 90. Race leaders move in behind some lap traffic exiting turn number 4 after 25 laps of competition and 5 to go. They're back into turns 1 and 2. Car number 37, Danny Coffey, goes a lap down. Coming up now on 5 to go, or less than 5 to go, as they move out of turn 4. And down the front straightaway. Joe Williamson Jr. with the lead. He reels in behind Bill Kimmel Jr. Makes the pass on the inside, exiting turn number 2. They move in behind Cincinnati, Ohio's Spanx Overbeck over in turn number 4, as well as John Collins in car number 96. 27 complete and less than 3 to go. On the back straightaway, it's Joe Williamson Jr. now by a 2.5 car lengths over the number 5 of Chuck Barnes as they move back into turns 3 and 4. And 2 to go this time around. On the back straightaway, it's Joe Williamson Jr. looking for his 3rd feature event victory of the 1993 racing season, moving him within 1 victory of the Kentucky Lottery bonus of $1,000. Moving in behind some slower lap traffic, he gives Tim Crawford a tap on the rear bumper, passes him down on the inside, moving into turns 3 and 4. Chuck Barnes in car number 5 falls about 3 car lengths behind. Out of turn number 4, Joe Williamson Jr. takes the checkered. Chuck Barnes for 2nd, the number 90 of Rick Irwin for third, followed by the 32 of David Thornton and the number 8 of Chuck Winders.